Let's go on, you silly motherfuckers. Alright, so let me tell you about the 3 funeral homes and fucking Benny. We had somebody that died in the neighborhood, okay? And there's no, whatever. He's just, shit happens in the neighborhood. So he was going to be over at the funeral home. And there's 3 of them. So, we all knew the guy, whatever. He was one of us. He was one of our retards, whatever. So everybody had the address where the funeral was being held at. And everybody was going. Like everybody in my crew was going. Like just a big army motherfuckers. So Benny, he was working that day. Whatever, he was out there. So he said, no problem, I'll be there once I finish up with stuff. I'll be over there. And Frank told him, don't be fucking late. You pay your respects to people. So I'll be there, don't worry about it. So anyway, we all go to the funeral home. We're there, seeing a sweet motherfucker off. I know I'll see him one day. And while we're in there, Frank comes over to me, he's like, where's my boy? I'm like, he's gonna be here. You know how this motherfucker is. You know how Benny is. He'll show up. Little did we know, Benny did show up. Let me just tell you something. He just showed up to the wrong funeral home. And to the wrong funeral. So anyway, Benny, he goes two funeral doors down. And he walks in, and there's a grieving family there. Okay? So Benny goes in, and then there's like this whole family, a lot of people sitting down, closed casket, the whole thing. So he's there, and he's looking around like, wow, I don't know these people. And he's thinking, where are we? So he's there. So anyway, the services are beginning. So they have this thing where Harlem funeral. People are walking by, touching the casket, and they can turn around and get on this little podium and start talking, about the deceased, the loved one that's left us, and share your experience with us. So no joke, Benny, because obviously he was there to say goodbye to one of our own in the Benny way. So Benny turns around, he's up on the podium, and this whole mob of motherfuckers, this is family, like people we never met in our life because we're down the block. We're not even in there. So he's like, I just want to say, I'm going to miss this motherfucker and all the crazy shit we did. And true, he was mixed up with wild shit, and he shouldn't be fucking around with those fucking wild drug motherfuckers. And I told him to stay away from those crazy bitches downtown because shit was going to come back. But I love this motherfucker. And this lady from the audience, which was this guy's daughter, my father was never with bitches. Benny's like, what are you talking about? You're not even his fucking daughter. He was always around with bitches. This motherfucker was everywhere. He hung out. He was a real motherfucker. Benny's going the fuck off. I love this motherfucker. I remember when me and him used to get fucking drunk and fight bums. The whole family's like, what the fuck is this motherfucker talking about? Arrest this motherfucker. And let me say something, the whole family was kind of like a mutiny. And he's like, true, he owed a lot of money to a lot of motherfuckers, and they came looking for him. And that was wrong, because I would have taken care of him, because that ain't the way to go out. He was a good motherfucker. Let me tell you something. Until it dawned on them, why do you people keep saying, like, this motherfucker's name is not John? And they're like, that motherfucker's name is Hector. Fucking Benny. The guy that fucking passed away was one of our brothers growing up, John Ramos. Beautiful motherfucker. Had a wild streak. Then he went to the wrong funeral home. Talking about some motherfucker called Hector. He's telling me he's wild, took cocaine. I remember when we were in Rikers Island together. Can you imagine the family? Like, my father's never been to prison. We found Benny when our services were, like, they had like an intermission. So when we were in the street, We look down the block. We see a mob of fucking people trying to attack Benny, and Benny throwing funeral people like into cars and everything. So the people from my funeral home, yo, they're jumping Benny. Wild motherfuckers over there. Let me tell you something. In front of those 3 funeral homes was the wildest fight ever. It was crazy. When the cops came, this motherfucker came to our funeral. It was just a mistake. The cops were dying laughing, you know, but at the end of the day, and even in our funeral place, we had a couple of guys who were cops. So once they obviously explained shit, that's how this motherfucker is. He just showed up to the wrong funeral home. Let me tell you something. That evening at our funeral home, we were fucking crying. We were fucking laughing. Because Benny was like, yeah, I started talking. I ate some of their cookies out of their fucking tray. Benny was waiting for people to go by and just say, he was fucking eating these people's foods and finger sandwiches. Fucking Frank was looking at him like, I should fucking shoot you. He was like, yo, why don't we go back and get some of those sandwiches?